welcome to a very special BB Can recap and spoilers at the end show with Johnny from BB Can 3. Oh my god, my memory. It is 3, right? It's 3. Good. Thanks, Johnny. Johnny in my ear. You guys can see all the times Johnny was on our show and all of our Big Brother content over at yourrealityrecaps.com/bbcan. I also want to let you guys know super quickly, Gary is going to be on Thursday, and tomorrow night we are live streaming from New York City, Meg's charity event fundraiser for arthritis. You can get tickets if you want to attend live or just watch the live stream over at yourrealityrecaps.com/Meg's fundraiser. Everything goes to the charity. Meg is not taking any of the money, and we're thrilled to support her. Of course, if you guys are want to watch these shows live, check them out at yourrealityrecaps.com/YouNow. And lastly, if you want to support our shows, consider becoming a patron at yourrealityrecaps.com/patron. You get patron-only shows, prize giveaways, patron group access, or you could do one-time donation at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal. That will help get us to the backyard. Maybe we can sneak Johnny into the backyard. I don't know. Let's ask him. Here he is now. It's Johnny.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
How is it going with you? I feel like it's been so long.
Oh, it has been a long time. I am doing very well. I'm keeping very busy. My everyday life is a gong show, but I like it that way, and it makes things fun and interesting. So,
why is it like a gong show?
Well, I work in healthcare. I'm a manager in healthcare. So, as you can imagine, a hospital is busy 24/7, round the clock. People don't stop dying and coming into hospitals. So, of course, I manage a department that runs 24/7. So,
okay,
yeah.
This is great. Because, as I think some people may know, I have poison ivy all over my body. And I've taken antihistamines, so I'm a touch drowsy, which is why I forgot that you were in healthcare. What can you prescribe for me?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely
but you're in Canada.
Nothing.
We don't have healthcare here.
There's, calamine oil or calamine lotion, oatmeal baths, but that's about it.
Oh God, bath is what caused this. I also have to say, special shout out to the person. You know, things are different this year, Johnny. We have the equipment where we can do all this fun stuff, but we can only have like one person on at a time now.
Okay.
Become a patron. But John, Comedy Jonah, who I think is in the chat room, oh my God, all season, all he keeps saying is, get Johnny on, get John. Like every time we're together, he's like, when's Johnny coming on? And I'm like, I don't know why you're so excited for Johnny coming on, because we can only have 2 people on. But John says hi and he loves you.
Oh, tell him I love him too.
I will. He's there. He's probably listening. All right, let's talk about what everybody wants to know. What you're thinking about BB Can this season, the past week, and yes, everyone, we're going to talk spoilers at the end. But let's just start with, actually, you know what? I take it back. Let's start with this. Everybody share the show and let everyone know that we're live. Square, megaphone, up arrow, whatever you need to do that right now from YouNow so that people know that we're live, and become a fan so that you can see all of our shows back whenever we do them. Okay, so now, Johnny, what are you thinking of this season? Let's start with, do you like the people they brought back?
So do I like the people they brought back? I really like this idea of bringing back some vets to play against newbies. It always makes for a very interesting dynamic and an interesting season.
Mm-hmm.
Were there some surprises? Absolutely. I didn't expect to see Dallas back. That was someone who really surprised me, but Dallas is really entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly understand why that kind of character is interesting to watch on TV, and he didn't disappoint this time either. I was a little surprised to see Gary back, yes. Not because I don't love Gary and think he's like phenomenally entertaining, and he is Big Brother. He's just Big Brother, you know what I mean? Like Gary's amazing. It was just because he had been on the sideshow, he had sort of seen behind the veil of production. And so for him to be on the show maybe is a little bit of an advantage. I don't know. But he did surprise me a little bit to see him back.
I don't know if it's an advantage. Well, I guess we know it's not even a juror advantage.
No. So there was Gary that surprised me a little bit. Bruno is a surprise to see back for me. I mean, on my season, certainly Kevin is a lock as far as I was concerned for a comeback or an all-star or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I would have seen someone like a Godfrey be back before Bruno would be back. I mean, certainly Bruno's up there, and certainly I've loved having him back. And Bruno's a great guy. He may have been the reason I went home back on my season, but I absolutely love this guy to pieces, and he's there for the right reasons. And he is a great game player, but I would have preferred to see someone like Godfrey before I would have seen Bruno back for a second time.
Liza and I kind of just talked about this the other day, which was a little fresh in my mind. I feel like they're not considering it an all-star. I feel like they're not considering it all-stars, so they're kind of doing like what BBUS does, where like we trickle in some of maybe the more, quote, fan favorites on a newbie versus returning player season, and you save the all-stars for an all-star season. So you save the Godfreys and those type of people for when you're going to do a full-on all-star season, is the theory anyway.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good theory. I think that, the Dallases, the Garys, and Brunos fit into that. However, like a Cassandra and Annetta will always be an all-star for me. You know what I mean?
Me too.
And an Aika is always an all-star for me. Cindy was a little bit of a surprise for me as well. But again, if you're playing into that non-all-star theory, then certainly Cindy is a very interesting character. And I'm glad to have her back and see her back in that house again.
If you had to pick somebody from, like, let's say season 1, who would you have wanted back in the house?
Well, so as an all-star from season 1, like Emmett's a lock. But I understand saving him. Tala is an interesting, fun, sort of quirky character that would be fun to see back in the house again. I mean, Jillian, arguably she didn't win the season. Gary won. So, she always has something to prove. Can she go back and actually win for a real win? That would be an interesting person to bring back. And Peter and Alec, those are very interesting characters as well. So,
right.
You've got lots to choose from season 1.
Yeah, and it was trailblazing, I feel like, for Canada. Came out with a bang in season 1. What if they introduced a twist? And I will say, chat room, totally keep putting your questions in the chat room. Of course, you can tweet them to us too using hashtag YRLive, and I'll pull them up. But some of the question I see that you're getting a lot is, if they put a twist into the game where Johnny got to replace a season 3 returning player, so Cindy, Bruno, Kevin, with someone else, not yourself, who would you replace and with who?
That's a good question. So I probably already alluded to the fact that I was surprised to see Bruno there, and I would have liked to see Godfrey in. So maybe that's one option for the guys. Kevin 100% goes back no matter what for me. He was really a star on our season. But Cindy, you could arguably replace with Neha. And I think the fans would have loved to see Neha come back and play again. She was such a fan favorite on our season. Even though she was in the house for such a short period of time, she's had such an impact on our game, and she's had such an impact on this game, and she's not even in that damn house. So,
right.
Neha is someone I would love to see come back and get another shot at it as well.
Who just in the chat room, I think I'm Sick and Twisted, said, could you imagine Tala and Karen in the same house? TV goal.
TV gold. That's TV gold. So maybe we save that for All Stars.
Right. Exactly. What do you think of Karen? Are you loving Karen?
I love Karen. I love how she is so outspoken. She doesn't give a shit what people think. She just speaks her mind. She's crazy. She's paranoid. She's all these things. And I think that's amazing television.
Right.
It has surprised me that she is absolutely on no one's radar for this long. That typical older person, archetype of player is typically an early boot in Big Brother. And she has managed not only to get to the jury, I think she's going to go a lot further. She's not on anyone's target right now. So we could see Karen in the end game for sure.
I insist on Karen in the endgame is what I'm gonna insist upon it. Another topic that people really want your opinion on, since you played with them, is what are your thoughts on this season's Kevin? Because there is like lots of controversy. People seem to be very opinionated. Like, is he using William? Is he pretending to be gay now? Is he straight? Like, where do you fall on this Kevin William game play?
So I have to allude back to my season a little bit. So with my season, I don't believe that Kevin felt that he was using me. I feel like that was very much what the edit looked like, and how it came back to the viewers is that I was being used. But in the house, Kevin and I had a true friendship. And to be honest with you, in my season, Kevin didn't have a hot clue what was going on for the first 4 weeks. And I mean, on TV, it looked very different. On TV, it looked like he was the mastermind of our season until he was evicted. But that was really not the case, and Kevin himself will admit that. However, this season, do I feel like he's using William? To an extent. How do I want to tackle? Do I feel like Kevin is gay, or is he, questioning? Here's what I'm going to say about this. I think that Kevin is certainly, he's always been open about his sexuality. He is very fluid, as he would put it. And I truly believe that's the case with him. I do think that Kevin, to some degree, as far as I'm concerned, you can't spend the time that you spend with someone like William, cuddle in bed with him, do all kinds of things under the covers with him, and make out with him, and not be into it.
Right.
I'm sorry, a straight guy doesn't just go make out with a guy and fondle a guy and not be into it, okay? So
Right.
Is Kevin gay? I don't think so. I don't think he would identify with that label, nor do I think Kevin really likes labels to begin with.
Right.
But do I think that he's open and out there and willing to have fun and try whatever? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do.
New Jersey Girl says he wants to be the Canadian Zach Rance. Maybe that's what it is. Well, more specifically, do you think it's okay for people to use like a showmance or sexuality to win Big Brother? Like, do you think anything is fair? Because I think like where people's outrage comes from is they feel like Kevin's using him and he has no intention to ever pursue it, and he's just ripping his heartstrings out. And I kind of feel like I don't know that we would care if it was a guy and a girl playing the game that way, so it's hard for me to hate on Kevin for doing it.
And I completely agree with you. So listen, Big Brother is a social experiment of all sorts. We put people in that house from all walks of life. And unfortunately, in the real world, people use each other. People have sex with each other. People use each other in relationships and otherwise to get by in life. And I don't think the Big Brother house is any different. So I think it is fair game. When you go into that house, going in there that you can pull out all the stops in order to advance yourself in the game. And if that means taking advantage of a relationship with someone who you might be attracted to, or you just might enjoy spending time with and cuddling with and fondling and making out with, then so be it. That is part of the game. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I feel like if it was a male and a female, we wouldn't be as outraged about that. But because it's a male and a male, and this is still something that, in this day and age, absolutely, it's become more accepted and it's not as big of a deal. But we don't see that on TV like we do with a male and a female. So it's just something that the audience, I think, needs to get accustomed to. I think this is the new age of reality TV, and I think we're going to continue to see this moving forward.
It is. And Mark, if you're watching and want to take advantage of me,
or me.
Oh, you have a crush on Mark too?
Oh God, he's a cutie.
Oh God, I love him. They need to twist him. We need another time wrinkle or some shit. I don't know. He needs to come back. Do you like the theme of the house this season? Do you like this whole futuristic theme? Like, would you rather play in your season or this theme?
I am so disappointed disappointed in my season.
Oh, got you.
I loved my house when I walked into it, and I thought it was amazing. Steampunk, the gears, the whole 9 yards. But then BB Can 4 with the BB Can Grand, and now this year with the BB Can Odyssey, My house sucked by comparison. This spaceship is so freaking cool, and I watch the shows and I watch the feeds, and I'm jealous that this is the house that these people get to live in.
I know.
They've got a pool table. I would have loved a freaking pool table. It was so damn boring in there half the time that a pool table would have been amazing. This house has 2 bedrooms. Mine didn't. The little things like the washer and dryer in the bathroom in the house. For those of you who have not lived in the Big Brother house, to be able to do laundry whenever you want and when you're not locked out from the backyard while they're setting up competitions, that's a big deal. For someone like me who did laundry every night before bed because the kids in my house were animals and they didn't know how to wash the towels, so we would have clean towels. It's a big deal to have the washer and dryer in the bathroom, just saying.
It is.
Just saying.
And in that house, oh my God, I remember your house was like, I feel like that house is so tiny. I feel like people don't realize how tiny the house is. I don't know what magic they do with the BB Can cameras. That house is tiny.
Oh, it is. And trust me, living in it, it is tiny. You don't have a lot of places to go. And when you have 15 other people around, it is small. And yeah, the Have Not room this year, mind-blowing. Compared to my room, I had an empty room. It was an empty room where you laid on the floor. But
I think you would rather that than this whole, you have to be arched up and in between bones. And...
I mean, as a house guest, you want the Have Not room that we had on BB Can 3. But as a TV viewer and as a fan, you definitely want whatever the hell they're calling this boned ribcage room that they've got going on now. I love it. I absolutely love it.
This is a good question, because we've actually had arguments about this on this show right here. What would you call it, John? What would you say that Have Not room is?
I feel like they dubbed it some sort of name, but what would I call that room?
What do you think it is? Would you say it's a cave? Do you think it's the inside of an animal?
Yeah, to me, it looks like the spine and rib cage of a dead carcass of an animal. So I feel like we're sleeping inside of the carcass of a dead animal of some sort.
And I'm here to tell you, you're wrong! It is a cave, Johnny! They dragged the animal into the cave. No, I disagree.
No. Because so you've got the things down the middle, that's the spine.
Yeah.
And you've got the ribs that are along the sides.
It was some Dylan-like caveman, which is not hard to imagine,
No.
That beat an animal and dragged it into that cave, and then they ate it, and they couldn't get it back out. It is a cave.
I can accept if the animal has been dragged into said cave and been eaten, and we're living amongst the body parts and the carcass of the animal in the cave. I can buy that.
Right. Or meteor. Dinosaur meteor. Dinosaur got knocked underground. It's an underground meteor dinosaur cave.
Okay.
Gonna make it.
I feel like we can go with that.
I feel like Mitch is also coming on the show, and I need to ask Mitch the scientific chances of what this is. Mitch will be the final word on this one.
I would defer to Mitch, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Mitch is good for us to defer to. So for this past week, we saw Dylan winning HOH. We saw Bruno and Kevin making a deal for their safety. Now, I just talked to Cindy a little while ago. That is up on the website right now. You guys can check it out. So I'm not going to tell you what she said, but do you think they should have fought harder to include Cindy in on that deal?
So first, I'm just disappointed all around in Dre, William, Bruno, Kevin for giving the HOH to Dylan like that. That was absolutely mind-blowing for me. I was on the feeds that night watching till the bitter end, and I was so disappointed to see 4 people step away like that, especially from William and Dre. Bruno and Kevin, I understand, but at the same time, what are you doing? At this point in the game, you need to play to win, and you need to make big moves. And the vets were taking each other out. And so for Bruno and Kevin to give it to Dylan and just put their trust in his hands, and they haven't really been working and have a ton of trust in him to this point, it's crazy. So I'm super disappointed in them for walking away in that regard. As for Do I feel like Kevin and Bruno should have pushed harder to keep Cindy in as a part of that deal? I think they tried. I certainly think they tried to keep her off the block. The only problem is that it's so apparent that season 3 is working together and has an alliance that no matter how many times you try to convince people not to put Cindy on the block with this week, there was no way you could avoid it. She was going on that block after that veto was used, and that was that, because we have to break up season 3. We can't keep moving 3 people forward when 4 votes and less moving forward is what controls the eviction.
I mean, they didn't need to go up. Dylan, wants to stick to his word. Like, he wants to have integrity and he wants to be seen as someone that plays with honor and all that. He had a great excuse. He could have just said, you didn't keep us safe last week. You screwed over Emily and I. We were supposed to be in your alliance, and now I'm just returning the favor.
To me, that's a cop-out reason. You're playing Big Brother. You made a deal. Deals don't mean nothing sometimes. And you know what? This would have been a perfect opportunity to take a shot at Kevin and Bruno. However, I will note that coming out of Dylan's HOH week, he is pretty unscathed. There's no one that's really after him, I would say. And I think that he's in a rather good position considering he's just been HOH this week. So, I mean, keeping that in mind, did he make the right decision? Probably. Would I have liked to see him take a shot at Bruno or Kevin? Absolutely.
Right. I mean, I disagree with you a little bit in the sense of you can't really say you can do anything, because I think to an extent your word really matters in the Big Brother house. Like, if people can't trust you, why are they gonna want to work with you? But I think you totally have to lie, and you can lie. You just kind of need to Vanessa Russo it. You need a reason to justify to the rest of the house. I normally wouldn't lie, but this is why I am. This is what they did to me last week.
Well, absolutely. And the people left in the house, though, none of those people were going to be upset to see Bruno or Kevin go up on that block. There would have been not one of them who would have faulted Dylan for going back on his word. Right. So when you have that kind of house and that kind of ability to lie like that and not have it affect your trust and your relationships with other people, I mean, it's fair game as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he didn't do it.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it, and he put Cindy up instead. He
put up Jackie and Demetrius. Demetrius won HOH. Then took himself off. Or veto.
Or veto, and then put himself up.
And put himself up. And and then Cindy ends up on the block. What did you think of Cindy kind of going hard for Ica? Do you really think that was Cindy's only play this week to try and turn people against Ica and make them feel like they needed her in the house? Or do you think she should have tried something else to stay this week?
Well, so full disclosure, I am definitely Team Ica, Team Petty. I freaking love this girl. So keep that in mind as I talk. Do I think it was wise of Cindy to go against Ica? No, I don't. I don't think it was very wise. Did she have another play? Yes. And that would have been to, beg and plead her case that she was on Ica, Dimitri, Dre, and William's side and that she's going against Kevin and Bruno. But do I think that would have worked at the end of the day? Probably not. They know better. They know that season 3 is so tightly knit together that, those relationships, as much as Cindy wanted to could try to sell something like that, it would have never have flown. It would have never have worked.
Going back to that HOH, I do not understand why Cindy and Ica, who are standing right there where they're making these deals, I don't understand why Ica wasn't like, Dre, William, what are you doing? And I don't understand why Cindy wasn't, other than, all right, maybe you don't want to let the rest of the house know how close you guys are, but still, I would have hi, Dre, William, you guys need a drink of water? It's me, Ica.
Yeah.
Can I get you something?
And I mean, I think Ica, and I think we saw it on the episodes, was very surprised to see William and Dre step down and give it to Dylan just like that, because that didn't make a lot of sense on their part. And that could have been disastrous for their alliance had, Ica gone up, or had Ica and Dimitri's gone up right at the get-go. So I think it was silly, and I'm surprised someone like Ica didn't go up to Dre and William and be like, hey, you guys,
Yeah.
Get it in check. Don't make a damn deal with this guy and go stand at your frickin' button, you know? I think she did say that after the Ed Hardy sort of decided that they were conceding it to Dylan. So, you know.
Yeah, the whole thing was so weird. And in all honesty, in that moment, I was kind of like, Dre, William, Bruno, and Kevin can all go. Like, if you don't feel the game is worth you standing for a little while longer, like, you're not being tortured. There's no cold water being shot at you. This is not really that painful. You just have to stand.
And like, I mean, these are the competitions that like someone like me who would do anything wanted in that house. I would have stood there for 24 hours. It wouldn't have freaking mattered. I would have stood there until either I limited myself by not hitting that button, or basically everyone died around me because I would have not moved. But yeah, it does disappoint me. It does disappoint me to see people who, you know, after whatever it was, 6 or 7 hours, they decide to walk away and just hand it to Dylan, the person that's not in their alliance or that they even trust. Like, very silly on William and Dre's part, and even on Kevin and Bruno's.
Right. Well, what did not disappoint me this week, what I thought was probably one of the most exciting to watch moments was when it was revealed. We had the feed leak earlier, like maybe a day or two before, but then almost kind of out of nowhere, we find out about this secret veto that, oh God, William had to find. But still, I thought this whole scene, just the editing, everything about it was so exciting, Big Brother, that I just loved it. And we have lots of questions about it, but I want to start with, what did you think of this secret now veto that William got to use? And is William who you would have wanted to win it or to find it?
So I think the secret power is phenomenal. I looked for a secret veto, a bum veto, a hidden veto, whatever you want to call it. I looked for one every day that I was in that house. Mm-hmm. That would be the last thing I did before I went to bed and the first thing I did in the morning when I got up. So to see it play out and in such epic proportions, you're so right. Like, they did such a good job editing it. The audio, the just the visual, the whole 9 yards was phenomenal. Yeah. What do I think of William winning it? Interesting. I would have liked to see someone else win it. I would like to see Dre win it. I would have liked to see Ika win it. I would have even liked to see Cindy win it. I think that would have been really interesting and cool to see play out. You know, but with William winning it, will he do something big with it? I hope so. I mean, we know he didn't use it on this past power veto ceremony, so he's got one more to use it in. But do I want to see him use it on someone like Kevin? Hell no. If he's going to make a move, you make a move, and you better not use it on freaking Kevin.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I don't think it would have been good for us if Cindy would have found it, because Ika would have went up. Like, going into, I think that ceremony or whatever, I think it would have ended up being Ika who would
it would have been Ika, but the thing is, like, as much as I absolutely love Ika, and I would have not wanted to see her go on the block and go up and potentially out the door, but at the same time, that is amazing TV, right? Yeah. Like, how amazing would it have been for Cindy to pull this veto out of her ass,
right,
out of the black hole that is her backside, and you know, save herself? That would have been so amazing and great TV.
But we're losing all of our great TV people, John.
I know. Like, I mean, we've lost them all back to back to back to back to back to back. I know, it's crazy. I can't believe it.
We need some to stay. Here's what I'm confused about, though. Like, I kind of have my own theory, but I mean, the whole house was cleaning when they found these clues. You know, yeah. The feeds were off for us for like hours. We thought they were just doing the POV ceremony. Come to find out, this must have been what was going on. But like, what if somebody would have found a clue 4 while cleaning? Well, William has clue 1. Like, I guess we're never going to know the answer to that.
I know. Like, I mean, and much as the same could be said for how the bum veto played out for Allison in season 2. So it'd be very interesting to hear from her perspective. You know, like, could those clues have been found, or were they hidden in a way where he found clue number 1, he had to go to the diary room. In that time, somehow Big Brother went and put the other clue out. You know, like, who knows what was going on? The feeds were down for so long, so we really don't know how it all played out in the end. But if it truly were all hidden ahead of time, yeah, absolutely. And to think that they're cleaning the house and they didn't find those other clues, that's quite surprising, you know?
New Jersey girl in the chat room says, William is so dickmatized, he would use the veto on Kevin even if Kevin wasn't on the block.
You know what? I will say that I think that Dre has enough influence on Kevin that she would prevent him from making a stupid decision like that. And though I know it's a secret power of veto and that he, will not have to disclose that he's doing it or say anything, I still think that he is a smart guy. And he knows that both Kevin and Bruno have to go if he has a chance at making it to the end. So I would like to think that he's not dickmatized by Kevin and that he would not use the veto on him. But I mean, I could be very, very wrong come the POV ceremony this week. And if that happens, I would be very disappointed in William. Very.
Well, we're going to talk when we get more towards the end of the show about who the HOH is and the way maybe we think things will turn out. But Maximus Mom in the chat room wants to know your opinion on William getting caught by Karen. So, we saw Karen kind of go right in that backyard, and she was not messing around. She went right to the door, she pushed on it, doors opening. I feel like the house always knew that there was something there, and they were just waiting for when does it come into play.
And I think that that's likely a conversation that happened during that first week when we didn't have feeds. Yeah, I mean, everyone in my house would have homed in on that immediately and been like, there's something going on here. Right. And I have no doubts that conversation happened at some point. But yeah, Karen was right there, busted him, basically coming out of the black hole trap door. And it was like, what? Like, from what it looked like on TV, William had monitor in there that he could see cameras from the house. What the hell? Like, why did he sit in there a little longer?
I mean, I want to know, how many F-bombs do you think Karen's going to drop when they reveal this to her? And God, please, Big Brother, do it on finale night so we all get to watch the reaction.
Yes.
Please.
Absolutely.
Because he would have lost it. Like, if she could have opened that door, crawled right in through that tunnel, and then I think, as per the rules, he would have lost it for getting caught.
Well, and I mean, it's interesting that they don't consider what happened, him being caught, right? Like, she went right up to that door and pushed it open, and it opened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's interesting all in itself. But yes, let's save the big reveal for finale. Let's have Arissa ask her that question and make that reveal maybe after the votes have been locked in. I think that's a phenomenal segment. She'll lose her mind, and it'll be great TV.
Oh, it'll be the best TV. So, okay, so now let me ask you this, because this is another thing we were kind of hypothesizing about. So now Big Brother said, you can use this power, nobody will know that you used the power. So if nobody knows that, William's using the power, let's just say he used it this week. Like, he used the power to remove Cindy. Well, doesn't that then mean that he could go up?
Yeah, it does. Which is why I think what most people are thinking and what most people are theorizing is that the only way for that to work is if the person also gets to make the replacement nomination. A diamond power veto of sorts, right, where you get to pick the replacement. Because yeah, you're right. If it came down to the HOH's decision, Dylan's decision, he could say, well, yeah, William, up on the block you go, and then you could be out the door. And what benefit would it have had of you finding a power veto, using it to save someone, and you not being safe yourself? I mean, any power veto at that point could be questioned moving forward, right? And that it sort of breaks down the trust you put in Big Brother that, they're right, imposing these rules that we all think and know along the way. And if you take one of those away, I mean, then you start to question a lot of things that they do, which we already do to begin with, but whatever.
And I think it would make great TV. That would be what it would be if it happened to William. But I don't think if I was playing Big Brother, I would ever trust them. Like, when they say, and no one's going to find out you did it, I'm going to be like, oh, so everyone's going to find out that I did it?
You know what? It's hard. Having been in that house, I thought going into there that would be my thing. I saw it happen to Ika. I saw it happen to Topaz, where Big Brother really, duped them a bit, and they were, they got revealed to the house. So I always thought going in there that there would be no way in hell that I would flap my yap about something and get myself into trouble. However, when you are under the care of Big Brother, you're whisked away before the show starts and you move into that house, you put all your trust in them, that they are doing what is best for you, that they are taking care of you.
Right.
It's a really tough thing, when you have someone providing your meals to you daily, when you have no control over safety and just calling someone for help, or you're just your own mental stability, and you rely on them for everything.
Right.
There's a trust relationship you build with them, and as much as you Ika and Topaz sort of got carried away and went and flapped their mouths, but it's very easy to do something like that in that house, and it's very easy to trust what they're telling you along the way.
Well, one of the things that we saw them tell people, or we were told on the feeds that they told people, and Kathleen P. wants to know your opinion on, what do you think about Dre and William speaking French in the house? And we were also kind of told, Big Brother told them, you're no longer allowed to speak game in French.
So here's the thing. In Canada, French is an official language in Canada. So we're a bilingual country, so we speak English and French up here. Those are the two official languages.
Right.
So all government services have to be provided in both languages. So you know what? In a multicultural country like Canada, absolutely they should be able to speak French in the house. I completely agree. And I mean, on the episodes, we get the nice subtitles. We get to see exactly what they're saying. Do I agree that maybe they shouldn't be having game talk because people in the live feeds would love to see it? Yeah, maybe. But would they have built the kind of relationship and the bonds they have without having to be able to communicate in their own native language? I don't think so. I don't think that relationship would be as strong as it is because they have that in common. So in my mind, we are a bilingual country. You let them talk French. You know what I mean? And as long as on the show we're getting subtitles, then, I'm happy.
I think they just don't want to have to subtitle everything. I just think they don't want to have to subtitle it all.
Well, and especially at this point in the game.
Right.
We are over the halfway mark, and from this point moving forward, it is all game right to the end. We've got, 3 and a bit weeks left, and another 6 people to disappear. I mean, things are going to start moving fast, right? So, I understand if that's what's been said to them, that, maybe let's not talk game in French and let's only talk game in English.
Right.
Because you know what? That is what this latter half of the game is. It's like, who's going to play the hardest to get to the end. And we all want to be able to see that.
I feel like we have to have at least a triple eviction in order to make it to finale at this point.
Like, I feel like definitely maybe another double,
have to be
or possibly an instant. And then,
True.
in the final week, they do the compressed thing, right? So
yeah.
So I think we'll see that again. So I think the timing will work if we see a double or maybe an instant and then a compression of that last final week. I think we should be able to still get down to, final 3 on finale night, right?
5, 6, 7. We have 8 people, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and less than 4 weeks.
Right, 8 people, but we always go into the finale with 3, right? Always.
Oh, that's okay. So, all right. I guess that's true then. So
right,
then...
we watched the 3 parts. So really, we have 5 to get rid of in 4
Okay,
weeks.
so one more double.
One double or an instant.
An instant.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why my brain wasn't processing that one. So, speaking of people going, what did you think of Kevin giving the vote to Jackie and not voting against Cindy, yet Bruno did not?
To me, that doesn't surprise me. That's typical Bruno as far as I'm concerned. Bruno doesn't give a shit about how people feel or if their feelings are going to be hurt. He only cares about himself and playing a good game. And that's not a bad thing, because I wish I could have done that on my season. I cast a vote for Neha, and I knew she was very well walking out that door in the instant eviction. You know what? You get wrapped into a lot of emotions in there. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? Good for Kevin for standing by what he promised Cindy and saying, you know what? I'm going to vote for you to stay, even though I know you're going. It's the poor girl's birthday. She was evicted on her birthday. That sucks. So you know what? I thought it was a really nice gesture on his part. And you know what? If Kevin were to ever make it to the end and sit in that final two spot, that's really good jury management as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
He could always rely on using that to pull out of his back pocket with Cindy to say, listen, when I knew you were going home, I still voted for you to stay. And that shows my loyalty to you. Therefore, show your loyalty to me and vote for me to win. And I think that that's one reason if Bruno and Kevin were sitting at the end to get the vote over Bruno, right? If that were the case.
100. That's what I mean. I don't know why Bruno was not jury managing that better. And
I mean, no one would have faulted Bruno for doing it. They all knew the three of them were working together.
Yep.
So to throw two votes, and I think Cindy even was a touch upset when she was watching the goodbye videos and she saw Bruno's video and she said to him, why didn't you vote for me? Is what I think she said out loud.
Yep.
And it was like, why didn't you? Because Bruno only cares about himself. That's it. That's Bruno,
And those kids that make the little hand necklace things and the card. He likes them too.
Oh yeah, his kids are adorable. Oh god, so cute.
Oh yes, I just love
Damien and Dominic. They're adorable kids.
What did you? Let's ask some questions about what you think about other things that are happening around this season before we get to spoilers. I see Lindsay wants to know, who do you think is playing the best game right now?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think, I think William is playing a really good game.
Really?
Well, in the sense that I don't think William is anyone's number one target right now.
Okay, right.
And I don't think he's really ever been anyone's number one target.
Okay.
So I think that that's someone who's playing a decent game. I think Karen is playing a decent game, and for the same reasons. She's not really anyone's target. And at this point, you do what you can to get to the end. And if that means you lay low while these other people blow each other's shit up, then to me, that's a good game move. I think Aika is playing an amazing social game. I think she's played an amazing social game the whole season. Mm-hmm. She is so erratic and she's so all over the place. It's so emotional and makes such amazing TV. But at the end of the day, Aika took the time to build the relationships with the newbies. And that's why Aika is where she is right now and why she is so positioned so well. I mean, the lines have been drawn at this point, and I mean, Kevin and Bruno are certainly coming after her and Dimitri. So there's no question about that. But at the same time, I think she has such good relationships with those newbies that if ever she finds herself in the end, I mean, I think Aika wins, hands down. You know what I mean?
Well, 100%. If you were in the house, who would you have formed an alliance with? Would you have gone right to your BB Can 3 castmates, or would you have wanted to work with other people?
So I think as a group of vets, I think naturally you're going to want to stick together because and I think the intent was good for the vets to shack up together and try to go forward. The problem is the personalities and the people you threw in there this season are incapable of working together. Aika didn't like Cindy going into it. Aika didn't like Cass going into it. And I mean, that sort of changed. Netta didn't really like Cassandra going into it. And that was very apparent on the episodes and how everything played out with that. I would have probably tried to do the same thing with the vets as well and form something to try to get us to at least the midpoint of the game. However, I think I would have played like Aika did and really formed relationships with the newbies as well. Who would I have gravitated towards with the newbies? Dre, 100%. She, I all kinds of feel that girl. I love her to pieces, so I would have totally gravitated towards that. As for the others, Karen would have really interested me as well. I mean, a lot of people didn't get to see it on my season, but I had a really great relationship with Risha up until she left. I know most people didn't get to see season that first week, so we had a great relationship, and her and I sort of connected in that first week. And so I would have liked to try the same thing with Karen as well, I think, in there. And Dimitri's would have definitely been someone that would have been on my radar to really form a good relationship with, and because I would have seen him as, one, a meat shield, and two, someone who obviously is going to be really physically good at competitions. And I mean, that's absolutely been the case thus far. So, I mean, I think he's a great game player.
Yeah. Well, the answer I was looking for was Mark. So,
Mark was gone so damn quickly. You know what I mean? I would have drooled all over him, but
I would have had a problem. I don't have a problem in that house with him. Steffi wants to know, and this is another kind of outside of the house stuff. What is your opinion on this kind of almost drama now that's happening on social media, kind of between house guests and fans, or the family members, or the people playing in the fans, or other previous players? It seems like Twitter is extra messy this BB Can season. What are your thoughts on it?
It's been a really dramatic season of Big Brother this year. Probably the most dramatic we've seen up here in Canada. Mm-hmm. And you know what? The vets, I think, the alumni, know better. And I think that they shouldn't be engaging the fans like they do on social media. You know what? There is love and hate for absolutely any person that sets foot into the Big Brother house. And there are going to be people who post either direction on Twitter and on social media. And as an alumni myself, I don't engage with people and the banter on social media. I post my opinions. I will certainly agree with people who are stating something that I agree with. But I'm not going to argue with the haters or argue with people who have differing views than I do. But that's me. And I think that I'm a little more mature than most of the alumni from Big Brother Canada, and actually most of the alumni, period, in Big Brother. You know what? I don't get caught up in the drama. I don't get caught up in the bullshit. I don't have time for that in my everyday life. So I know that sounds boring, but I mean, watching some of these people implode on social media is embarrassing. And you know what? Knowing that I'll be at finale this year and spending time with all these crazy people, I think it's going to be super dramatic this year. And you know what? Coming out of the house, especially for the newbies, it makes a really uncomfortable experience. Mm-hmm. Coming out of our house, there was some beef that went on during finale weekend in Niagara, which is, which was unfortunate. And to watch that and to have people who are just coming out of the house messed up because the experience is screwy just to begin with. Then you enter the outside world and it's all kinds of crazy. Right. But to see that from the alumni who are really there to really welcome these people in and say, you know what? We know what you're going through. There's only a select few of us that do. It's okay. But instead to watch them melt down in front of everyone and fight and get into arguments, like, come on, guys, grow up. Grow up.
You mean the reality stars are attention seekers?
They are attention seekers. They are all kinds of drama. And you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm just different. Maybe I
are an adult with a job and a life.
Yeah, I'm an adult with a job and a life. And I mean, don't get me wrong. The drama is always interesting to watch. And I mean, I'm sure some of the fans are soaking it up on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And they love it. They absolutely love it. But I mean, we're adults and this is really not how it should be. As for alumni engaging with family members of house guests, that is off limits as far as I'm concerned. And that's bullshit. And I don't care who is speaking out against, other alumni from family members. You don't touch the families. Period. End of story. The families can say what they want, when they want, while their family member is in that house, because they don't really know how hard it is until you're in that position where your family's in there. It's tough.
Right.
And I know my family had a tough time, and I know lots of people's family had a tough time watching their son or daughter in that house, or their brother or sister or whatever. So the alumni need to check themselves and not argue with the family members. And that's that. I mean, I don't need to call out names. I know most people know who's engaging the family members, but they need to stop. It's pathetic, it's childish, and it's so immature.
Yeah, I don't like the engaging of the family members. I mean, I think family members should also, I feel like they need a guidebook. I think Hamster Watch actually has a thing that she sends to people sometime. Like, if you're a family member, this is what you might want to be prepared for if you're going to engage, the CIA or getting bomb threats are coming your way with the crazies.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I guess someone should be telling family members, there is going to be negative and hate out there, and don't engage in it. But the problem is it's so natural to want to protect your loved one, right? Like, I look at Karen's boys who are tweeting at people and protecting their mom. If it was my mom in that house and people were throwing her through the mud, especially alumni who we sort of elevate as fans above, other people, would I absolutely defend my mother? 100%. I would come and protect my mom till like a tooth and nail to the day I die. I don't care, and that's the way I am.
Liza was telling me on the show that she would not stick up for her mother, and I was like, well, aren't you a horrible daughter? I am sticking up for my mom. I agree.
Stick up for my mom. I don't care, and I don't care who it is, But do I agree that alumni should be held to a different standard and know what their families went through while they were on the show, and know sort of how how things look and are perceived, and how hard that is for people to watch? Yes. So should they not engage with families? Yes. So get it together, alumni. Get it together.
But that wouldn't get them attention. All right, I want to ask you this last question before we go into the spoiler section, because I kind of love this this question from the chat room. Who do you think would last longer without the other one, Ica or Dimitris?
I think without the other, I think Dimitris lasts longer. I think he has the ability to win competitions. And I think even if Ica were to leave, he would reposition himself very well. Would the target still be really big on him? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But there are enough big players in there that he could reassemble and realign. And I think that he would last longer on his own. And however, I do have faith in Ica. And I think that if she was in there, she'd work it. As best as she could, but I think Dimitris would go a little further if I had to take a guess.
Right, and just simply because of comps too. I think there are definitely going to be comps.
Like if you draw the line, Ica has the better social game than Dimitris. But when you talk about competitions, and at the end part of the game, the competition wins are so important. I mean, we saw Ashley win so many at the end of my season that it got her to where it got her to Final 3. So I think they're that important. So I think that's what gives Dimitris sort of the upper hand.
Yeah. Social Mari in the chat room says winning comps definitely makes you last longer, which obviously true because you're going to have the power. Well, all right, let me say this to everybody watching right now. If you don't want spoilers and you're watching this show live, you're going to want to exit now because we're going to talk about who the HOH is, most likely who the noms are. So if you don't want spoilers, you're going to want to exit now. Or if you're watching this back in the future and it's not Monday, the 24th, then it's not spoilers for you. Okay, spoiler section. So, speaking of physical competitions, and us seeing last night that part 1 of this HOH is doing the Stairmaster, carrying boulders, rolling a canoe. Right. Who do we possibly think could have won? Were you?
I wonder.
Did you even have a second guess? The second I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I know who won."
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good idea where that was going to be. I mean, I think that though, without saying who won, I think there are some strong men still left in that house that could have put up a good competition. Strictly looking at what we saw in the episode, Kevin, Bruno, and Dimitris certainly would have the advantage to win. And maybe even Jackie. She's a very physical girl, so, maybe.
Well, of course you can say, and 100%, obviously, everyone, it was Dimitris who won. He won. I didn't even think there was a question. Now, people, if you looked at that closely, you might have noticed that I already have the noms selected. Whether it be wishful thinking or I'm pretty sure that they are locked in. As of when the feeds went down last time, it seems like Dimitris is pretty set on what he wants to do and that he is going to go after Kevin and Bruno. It has not happened yet. As of before we started this show, it hasn't happened yet, but most likely he is nominating Kevin and Bruno. So do you think that is the best move for him and Ica?
Absolutely. This is the best move. Kevin and Bruno are coming after Ica and Dimitris, so they're going to have to cast the stone first. And I think this week their goal is to send one of those two home. Mm-hmm. If I were Ica Dimitris, my target 100% would be Bruno over Kevin. And the reason I say that is that I think Bruno is the brains behind the operation that is the Season 3 Alliance. I think Kevin, and I think it was demonstrated, and here I'll give an example. I think it was demonstrated on the double eviction with Netta going home. Bruno was the one trying to convince Cindy not to put Netta up as the replacement. Kevin was standing there but wasn't saying anything, and I think that that's very true to Kevin's character. I don't think that he's the kind of person that is such a gamer like Bruno is. So I think you go after the bigger gamer, and that's absolutely Bruno. But I mean, I think Kevin, for other reasons, Karen hates him so much that it's just a very easy position to take to send Kevin home. But I don't know.
Dancing Amy in the chat room says Dimitri was just called to the DR, and right before he left, he verified to Ica that Bruno and Kevin will be the noms.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying about why you think Bruno would be the smarter choice when you're saying that he was talking to Cindy and that stuff, but I feel like he was talking to Cindy about Netta, who both aren't in the game anymore. Bruno doesn't really have anywhere to go. He can't really do much with his power if he were to get it, whereas Kevin kind of has William, ergo he has Dre. So I feel like Kevin could get numbers where I don't really know where Bruno is getting numbers from.
No, and I certainly agree with that. I mean, do I think Kevin has William? Maybe a little bit. I think maybe the edit on the episodes is playing that up maybe more than it actually is. Maybe. I don't know. Do I think he has Dre as a result, though? No, I don't think so. I think Dre is doing her own thing, and whether she agrees with William's relationship with Kevin, I don't think that she's going to side with that or not. So I think you could go either way this week. And I think the really interesting part is, what will William do with that secret power of veto,
WWD.
Especially if someone like Bruno wins the veto and saves himself, we could have a potential situation where both Kevin and Bruno are coming off the block. And then what? Which would be a disaster, an absolute disaster. But,
Maybe
I
not.
would like to think that probably Karen and Jackie would end up on the block, and that would be that. Or Karen and Dylan, possibly, I don't know. But I would much rather see William not use that secret veto, which I think he's going to use. I mean, how do you not use a special power?
I think if anybody was going to not use the special power on Big Brother, William will be the one not to use the power.
Maybe.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, I would prefer to see Bruno or Kevin go home this week. I think it's time.
Mhm.
As much as I love them, and they were both on my season, I am definitely rooting for them. I would love to see either of them win. For Ica and Dimitri, and I'm going to be Team Ica no matter what. They have to take out one of the two of them this week, 100%.
I definitely agree. And now that you just said that, oh my God, that would make epic television. But then we would just repeat this all over again. And I know what would happen. So if Bruno won and Bruno gets off and then William uses power and takes off Kevin, then you just know power's going to them for the next week with nothing to save the other side of the house. And then we're going to lose probably Ica or Karen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, please don't make that.
But, and the thing is, that's as much as that's terrible and awful.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it from a TV perspective. That's phenomenal TV.
No, I agree with you. Phenomenal TV this week.
Yes.
And then 3 weeks of watching Kevin and William do whatever they do.
I love how you stopped yourself there.
I was going to say finger blast each other. And I was like, maybe not. No, I just don't want... It's like, we need Ica. We need Ica and we need Karen. For the love of God, do not remove them from this show or the feeds or... Oh my God, it is going to be slow moving forward.
Oh, I agree completely.
I see a lot of people want to know, if you could pick the final 3, who would you want to see in the final 3 from Who's Left right now?
From Who's Left right now, if I could pick the final 3, I would like to see Ica, Dre, and probably Dimitri's. That would be my 3.
And who would you want to win?
I mean, Ica, I would love to see win. However, I would be okay with all three of those people winning.
Do you think any of them more so than another one is more deserving? I mean, I hate when people are like, you're not a deserving winner, even though I say it, Nicole. But do you think any of them are more or less deserving of a win at this point?
No, I don't think any of the three that I've picked are actually, I don't think any of the people in that house are less deserving of a win. If you can get yourself to the end of the game and you can convince a jury to vote for you, then you know what? You deserve it. Whether you played a sloppy game, you played an erratic game, you played an emotional game, or you played a stupid game, you still deserve it one way or another. You still get that title.
I see a lot of people in the chat room still asking, does William have the diamond power of veto? Other people saying, is he going to backdoor Ika? We don't know. And I feel, I'm not saying specifically to Big Brother Canada production, maybe I am, but I'm saying reality TV production in general, 101 is, you don't give all the information so that you can make things work how you might want it to work. So we don't know is the official answer. We just know he has this power. It's not going to be revealed if he uses it. And that's all they're telling us so far. Now that HOH is over, maybe we'll learn more.
Yeah, maybe we'll learn more on Monday night's episode about what that power entails as they tease what could happen on Wednesday's episode, right?
Right, because that's all Monday is our Monday tease. Maximus Mom wants to know, what do you think about Jackie's curse? Anyone that goes on the block next to Jackie, you go home.
I mean, every season has one of them, right? I mean, on my season, it was Brittany. She was on that block so frequently, and everyone that sat next to her went home. I think that, what do I think about it? I think that's standard Big Brother. You're always going to have that Pawn Star person sitting up on the block with you, and that will always stay because no one wants to waste an HOH sending home someone like a Jackie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do I think that that's a bad position to be in? No. Because you can go really deep in the game, and all you have to do is step up a couple competition wins, and boom, you find yourself in the final three.
Do you ever talked to Netta, or do you feel like you have a relationship with Netta at all? Or here's more the question that I'm asking. I see a lot of people want to know, what do you think is happening right now in the jury house with Cindy and Netta? Like, do you think that they're going at it? Or do you, as someone who knows Cindy and maybe knows Netta, do you think they were able to kind of, let's make good TV and now we're cool?
Yeah, I think Netta would have been a little sassy to see Cindy join and maybe would have turned on the heat a little bit. I won't say I have a personal or close relationship with Netta. I mean, I interact with her a few times a year. And I interact with Cindy about the same amount of time too. I mean, I know Cindy a little more because I live with her. So what I will say is that when you're living with people like that, and especially those two have another 4 weeks to live together, you got to squash your beef pretty quickly. And they have a whole week to wait for the next person to join them. So you know what? You best get that out of the way on night one. Netta, I'm sure, is going to come off as really cocky and condescending to Cindy when she enters, saying, you know what, I told you so, you should just listen to me, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, would we all have said that if we were in Netta's position and Cindy joined us? Yeah, probably. I probably would have been like, yeah, told you so, you dumbass,
I didn't even realize it until Cindy reminded me of it earlier today on the phone interview. It is kind of like history repeating itself almost, because she's gone. There's a real good chance that we know right now Kevin is supposedly the target for this week. And then Bruno could go right after that and make it easy for everybody in the house. And it's like we're redoing BB Can 3 all over again in the same order.
And it's very, very possible that that's how this all goes down. I mean, yeah, I know that's not interesting and that's not fun, but that's just the way it plays out sometimes. I like to see that because my favorites get to continue on. So, would I enjoy seeing Kevin and Bruno go back to back? Absolutely. Would I especially love to see poor Bruno be duped by another special power? the evil side of me says yes, I would love to see that, and I would laugh, and it would be very entertaining. But I know that Bruno would be eaten alive if he went home because of some special power veto or whatever you might have it. It would eat that poor guy alive. I think it's eaten him alive for the last 2 years that he went home in the fashion that he did.
Well, I think that you are a lot of people's fan favorites, Johnny. You are someone that a ton of people love. I mean, I said it the other day with Liza, who you've now beaten. I think it's interesting that you guys are getting so many more like viewers on this show just live than the actual people that played the show. Like, people love to come on here and hear what you have to say. We love you taking time to come on here and tell us what you think about this season. Where can people find you if they want to keep hearing what you think about this season, Johnny?
Absolutely. So I think right above me, you can see my Twitter handle. I am active on Twitter, especially during Big Brother and with some other reality TV shows as well, every now and then when I have time. So absolutely check me out on Twitter. You can also check me out, Johnny Colatruglio, on Instagram and also on Facebook. I try to interact with everyone. If you send me a message, I will try to respond to you as best as I can. If you have questions, you want advice about applying for Big Brother, hit me up, and I'm always willing to help people out. You know what? I was a super fan before playing the game of Big Brother, and I'm still a super fan now. So I love coming out and talking with you and talking and interacting with fans. This is what Big Brother is about for me.
I see a lot of people in the chat room saying just that they love you, Johnny, and that you are a true fan of Big Brother, and that's why you get it, and you're always so great to fans and always willing to help fans out, and that's why we love you here.
Aw, thanks, guys. I love you all.
All of the links to where you can find Johnny will be below this show. I will be back tomorrow night from Meg's New York City event at 7 p.m. Eastern. You guys can check that out at yourrealityrecaps.com/Meg's fundraiser. Consider becoming a patron if you want to see Johnny and I together at the finale. There's a big weekend and lots of stuff happening. And we can get into trouble, and you want to see it. So become a patron. Just desperately trying to make
Love it.
histamine. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We love you guys. All the links will be below. We'll see you guys all later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.